This is episode 647, and today we're going to be discussing a nutrition program for you. Actually, it's a 7-day mental diet. The 7-day mental diet was developed by Emmett Smith. Emmett Smith was a New Thought spiritual leader in the early 20th century, and this 7-day mental diet is a self improvement concept aimed at cultivating a more positive and constructive mindset. And even though this has been around for quite a long time, it's still relevant today because actually, even more so, because the amount of junk diet we have mentally through news, through social media, through gossip, through complaining, through blaming. This is a wonderful diet to help with our mental attitude and then how we live through life. And so there are 5 key points to consider with this mental diet. And like with any diet or nutrition program, there are key points that are fundamental to the success of it. So let's review these now. So the first one is conscious thought selection. And that means over 7, because it's a 7-day mental diet, right? But over 7 consecutive days, not one this week, one next week, but in a row, you deliberately choose your thoughts. Now, this may seem strange, but if you consider that most of the time your thoughts are automatic, and Dr. Amen talks about ants, automatic negative thoughts. Well, we have automatic thoughts that come up, and we just entertain them, and we dance with them, and we believe them, and we magnify them, and we have these thoughts, and we go, where did this thought come from? Well, over 7 days, we want to deliberately choose our thoughts. So when we're faced with a challenge, how are we going to choose that thought? When we wake up in the morning, how are we going to choose our thought to welcome the day? When we go to bed, how are we going to choose our thought? When we hit when we get stopped at a red light, how are we going to choose our thought? When somebody gives us unfavorable feedback, how are we going to choose our thought? When somebody gives us favorable feedback, how are we going to choose your thoughts? Every single time you are communicating or interfacing with the exterior world, you have an opportunity to choose your thoughts. And this is essential because it's going to help you develop the muscle for selective thoughts, meaning that what do you want to think? Well, think those thoughts. A lot of folks feel that they don't have control over their thoughts, and yet we really, really do. It's just we haven't exercised that muscle. So this first tip is very, very challenging. It's easy, but not, it's simple, but not easy. So we want to consciously create our thoughts throughout the day for 7 consecutive days. Now, this is going to be tough because you come home from work. What are your thoughts? Even when you're expressing how your day was, it starts with a thought. So, how do you want to express your thoughts? Consider this one really carefully over the next 7 days. Next one is letting go of negative thoughts. So during this 7-day period, commit to releasing negative thoughts and not holding on to them. So we're not blocking negative thoughts because if we're blocking them, we're paying attention to them. But here we are just releasing them. So think of a negative thought as like a hot coal that somebody drops in your hand. You just release it. You don't try to fight the heat, but you just let it go. So we want to acknowledge the thoughts that we have and just let it go, kind of like you let go of a helium balloon, when you let go of other things, when you turn your hand upside down and let go. If it's holding a pencil, the pencil falls, you're not holding on to it. So we want to make sure that in addition to choosing our positive and supportive thoughts, anytime we have one of those ants, automatic negative thoughts, we want to release it and not entertain it. One of the easiest ways my mentor T. Harv Eker taught us is to just go, thank you for sharing, and release it. We don't want to battle with it. We don't want to debate with it, because that keeps that negative thought in our awareness. We go, thank you for sharing. Now you can be on your way. And we just want to start letting go of these thoughts. The next, we want to talk about a mindset transformation. So by constantly practicing positive thinking, and positive thinking isn't necessarily seeing things through rose-colored glasses. Positive thinking is the acknowledgement that there is a learning that can help us within any given situation. Because if we, have a flat tire, oh, this is fantastic. I have a flat tire. This is great. Well, positive thinking is not going to change the flat tire. But what we could learn is, hey, did I check my tire before I left? Is the pressure okay? If I ran over some glass, did I stop and make sure everything's good? So those are things that we can do to help with mindset transformation. And the aim here is to rewire your thought patterns and developing a habit on focusing on the bright side, the learning sides of any situation. There is always, we don't want to ignore it to the fact of not recognizing that it's there. If it's a painful situation, we want to acknowledge the pain. We want to go, this is painful. Like if you break up, or there's if you lose your job, or whatever that might be, which is not going to go, oh great, I lost my job. Oh great, my dog died. It's, we want to acknowledge the pain that goes with the event, yet we don't want to camp out there. But when we've given that time, we want to, throughout this week, understand that there is a hidden blessing in that event, and we start to look for it. Affirmations and positivity. Want to gain, and so there's positive thinking, which is seeing the benefits and the blessings in a situation. And then there's affirmations, it's just affirming what we want. And actually, I will say it's not even affirming what we want, it's affirming that we already have what we want. And we can do affirmations standing in line. We can do affirmations while we're driving. We can do self-talk. All these throughout the day, we can have these affirmations and positivity. Especially at work, when our first reaction might be when our boss comes and asks us to do more work, we grumble and say, okay, I'll take care of it. But then we want to make sure that we're blessed that we have a job. We're blessed that we can have income to pay for, our housing and our food and vacations. So we want to continue to use affirmations and positivity throughout the week. And then we have to make a daily commitment. This is a 7-day, just 7 days. It's essential to remain dedicated to the practices that we just have gone over, even when facing challenges. It's so easy to fall back into the lazy thinking, the victim mentality, because this is what we've been taught to do. But to embrace the 7-day mental diet is basically saying, I'm responsible for my thoughts. I'm responsible for my attitudes. I'm responsible for my results in life. Basically, that's the warrior attitude, as opposed to the opposite, which would be the victim attitude. So the 7-day mental diet, this was way back before, the phrase warrior has really become mainstream. But this is basically a warrior mentality. And we want to embrace this so that when we face challenges, we will be able to move beyond them and get the results that we want. Now, keep in mind the 7-day mental diet is a transformation practice of conscious thought selection, letting go of negativity, mindset shift, and positive affirmations and daily commitment, just for 7 days. 7 days, that's it. And you may want to score yourself each day. How would I do on these 5 things? Did I do, on a scale of 1 to 9, I would not use 10. I would say 1 to 9. How did you do? And then at the end of 7 days, look at the total of each day or look at the total of the week, and then perhaps challenge yourself and say, can I do better next week? And then you have another 7-day diet. Then pretty soon you have a 30-day. But 7 days is easy to do. Anybody can do this for 7 days. It may be challenging to keep strict to these 5 principles that I've gone through, but it can be done, and I challenge you to do that. By actively participating in this mental detox and mental diet, the aim is to create more optimistic and constructive mindset, just so we can function happier and healthier in life. Ultimately leading to improved mental well-being and more positive approach to life's challenges. Doesn't that sound just wonderful that we can face these challenges head on and we can move beyond them and we can create the life we want with joy and happiness? I think that sounds pretty good to me. If you like this podcast and want to see the show notes, you can visit warriormindcoach.com. While you're over there, you'll find some more useful information in this form of blogs, other podcasts. I'm finding out also how to contact me for a complimentary breakthrough session. Since you'll be on the internet, you can follow me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest under Warrior Mind Coach.